You are so out of touch. You do not know what happens in the real world. You have no idea what goes on in a man's brain. Clearly, you don't know what men do when, like, you don't know how men spend their time. You don't know how men think. You don't know the experiences that men go through in this up gynocentric society. You have no idea. Clearly, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just existing and making propaganda while at the same time, simultaneously, you are trying to emulate the type of content you see men making. All right, Shelby exists and makes stuff. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this chick. She's one of those women that she's on YouTube. She built up a pretty big audience pretty fast. She has almost 20,000 subscribers now. She gets a lot more views than I do, and she built up her audience really quickly, because she's a woman talking to the camera. So that works really, really well on YouTube. And her whole thing is, she basically makes kind of doomer style content, a little bit similar to what I do, but because she's a woman, she gets a whole lot of views. I think that's a big part of it. But she recently put out this video titled "Lonely Men Are Not Ugly, They Are Dangerous." So you already know this video is about to be full of a whole bunch of stupidity. So I got to react to this. Somebody's got to tell her what's up. I mean, this is ridiculous, okay? So let's get right into it.
You are not ugly. I repeat, you are not ugly. To women, you are dangerous. You are creepy. It is not a male loneliness epidemic at this point. It is a male consequence epidemic.
Here we go. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Women do not even believe in the male loneliness epidemic. It's just not something they're even capable of understanding because their own life experiences make it unfathomable to them that there are men on this planet that truly are just essentially invisible. And when I say women don't believe in I'm speaking in general terms, okay? I don't paint broad strokes like how this broad strokes. We don't do that here. I'm all about nuance, okay? Nuance. So, generally speaking, a lot of women just cannot understand the male loneliness epidemic because it's just such a foreign concept to them. Like, what do you mean nobody ever pays attention to you or cares about you whatsoever or cares whether you live or die just because you're an average man? I'm a dog shit ugly woman and I have Chad approaching me all the time wherever I go, and other women always support me and I get every fake email job I ever apply to. That's how it is for everybody, right? Look, Shelby, some men are legitimately just not desirable to like 99.99% of women. And it's actually a lot more men than you think. You probably don't realize that because those men are invisible to you. But we do exist. Or even if you think I'm not in that camp personally, fair enough. Maybe I do have it better than a lot of other guys. I mean, I know that I do. But there are some legitimately ugly men out there, and they don't all hate women either, okay? There's a lot of guys out there, even progressive, left-leaning, leftist guys, believe it or not, that do not get treated well by pretty much any woman they ever come across. They're lonely because they're ugly. I know for you that is a foreign concept. Part of that isn't a foreign concept to you. But the part about being lonely, I guess that is a foreign concept to you. But even slightly above average looking men really don't get much attention from women, especially if they're shy and they're introverted. If a man is shy, he's just screwed. Men have to approach to get with women unless they're good looking, or maybe in some rare cases, they're just astronomically lucky, but that is very rare.
The average man risks getting their feelings hurt when they get rejected by a woman. When a woman says no, we literally risk our lives.
I understand that there is a big discrepancy in size and strength between men and women, and obviously, there are some psychopathic, hyper-aggressive men out there, but this narrative that it's anything but an extremely rare occurrence for a woman to experience violence as a result of rejecting a man that approaches her, it's just not true. It's propaganda, in fact, is what it is. Yes, of course, there have been cases where that has happened, but there's also been cases where a man approached a woman, or maybe he rejected a woman, and she got a bunch of white knight simps to assault him in order to defend her honor. Okay? These are things that have happened and probably will happen more in the future, but neither of these things are particularly common. Like, you don't need to live in fear that a random man that asks for your number is going to end you just because you reject him. That is extremely unlikely to happen. But you know what? It is horrible that that does happen to women in those rare cases. It's really not good. Nobody deserves to be assaulted just because they rejected somebody's advances. But why are you treating this like a competition? Men and women face different challenges, different dangers in this world, but it is a fact that men are the ones that are more likely than women to be the victims of violent crime, okay? But this doesn't need to be a competition. I wouldn't really have a problem with her if she was just talking about specific struggles that women face, because, yeah, there are struggles that women face that men don't. But she's presenting it like men are the problem, like men are bad, women are good. And she's just trivializing men's issues. Why not just talk about how, as a woman, you do have some specific struggles that men don't face and men probably don't really understand? Why do you have to act like men have it so easy compared to women? I mean, I know I do sometimes kind of do the same thing. I'm not going to act like I've never trivialized women's struggles on this channel, but I think in cases where I have done that, I am always very lighthearted about it, and I think it's pretty clear that I am trying to be comedic when I do that. I'm not being 100% serious with a lot of the things I say. I mean, maybe some people are confused about that. I don't know, but I do joke around a lot in my videos. But she's not joking here. I'm pretty sure she's being completely serious. I mean, so I've already watched this entire video, actually, and I'll just go ahead and say it comes off like she's reading a manifesto. Like, this is her manifesto. I mean, it's all over the place, but everything she says is just like, it's just about why men are evil and women are innocent angels. They're in so much danger around men. And it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Most men have never been followed home, groped, or cornered by someone 3 times their size and strength whose only intention is to fuck you with or without your consent, and it shows.
There is no way, just no way, that most women have been followed home by a scary man. Obviously, that does happen. Like, it's happened to some women, I'm sure. And I'm sure most women probably have at some point had some kind of encounter with a legitimately scary guy. Of course that happens, but that's not most men. It's a very, very small minority. And there's also no correlation with actual dangerous men and celibacy and lonely men. Like, it's not a lot of the biggest committers of violence against women are guys that do actually get some the normal way. Guys that women do find attractive are just as likely as ugly, lonely guys to actually be dangerous. There's no correlation with. It's just ridiculous. Okay, and I know that probably like 99% of women actually would report that, oh yeah, a man followed me home one time, blah, blah, blah. They say that, but that's because a guy was walking in the same direction as them and they thought he was following them. I had, like, look, this is something that actually happened in my real life. Back a long time ago, I was living in a bigger city, okay? I would ride the train to and from work sometimes. So I came home, I got off the train. There was a girl that got off at the same stop I did, right? And so she got off first, so she was walking, and I was walking in the same direction, right? So basically, I'm walking behind her. And after, we walked maybe like just down the street a little bit, it was just me and her, right? So she's walking down the street and I'm like, I don't know, 50 feet behind her. Well, I walk pretty fast. I walk faster than nearly everybody else that I see walking around. Okay. So I had, I don't know, maybe like a mile. Yeah, it was maybe about a mile I had to walk to my apartment. Well, she ended up walking pretty much like the whole way, like right up to my apartment. Because, I mean, I don't know, I guess she lived near me somewhere. But yeah, I walk super fast and it's just like a no-brainer. I was going to overtake this girl before I even got like a quarter of the way to my apartment. But that never happened. Because I swear to God, this girl was fast walk. Like, she had to have been like hyperventilating by the time that I got to my apartment. She was essentially running so that I wouldn't catch up with her. And I'm sure she would probably go on Reddit or whatever and go on, what is that subreddit, like 2X chromosomes, where it's just like a man hating subreddit. I bet she went on there and she was like, a scary man chased me home and, but that didn't happen. In her mind, she obviously was afraid that I was chasing her or something. But no, I was just walking in the same direction down the same sidewalk because we got off at the same train stop and I walk really fast because I don't like to waste time. And, part of the thing with me, I walk really fast because I'm pretty tall, so I have long legs, so it's like, it's easy for me to walk faster than most people. This girl was, I mean, I don't remember how tall she was. She was certainly not as tall as me, okay, because not very many women are. She was, I'm guessing at best, she was probably like 5'8". If she was tall for a female, then she would have been like 5'8", 5'9". Okay, so for her to be walking actually like matching my speed at least, because I did gain on her a little bit, but I never yeah. Either way, a lot of the times when a woman says that a creepy man followed her home, you might take the opinion of believe all women, but I'm not naive enough to do something that stupid. I don't believe all women. When a woman says that a creepy man followed her home, if I'm gonna believe that story, then I need more details than that. Because I think it's, in a lot of cases, what actually happened is that a man was walking in the same direction as her. And she thinks that means that she got followed home. Okay, so whatever, moving on.
Men are not taught to be concerned with women's feelings of safety.
Imagine saying that with a straight face. Men are not taught to be concerned with women's feelings of women's safety. Yes, we are. From a very early age, from our fathers, our mothers, school teachers, peers, everyone in society is always talking about take care of women, be nice to women, don't let women experience any harm. Even if a woman punches you 10 times in the face, you can't hit her back. Just be very concerned with women's safety. Society's like, believe all women, all women are victims. Just men aren't taught to be concerned with women's safety. Shelby, I don't mean to be rude here, but are you actually fucking retarded? Because you just said something that makes it seem like that could be the case.
1 in 4 women have been victims of completed sexual assault, and 90% of us have experienced sexual misconduct by the time we're 21.
Okay, she says 1 in 4 women have had the very, very bad thing happen to them. I don't believe that. I'm not ignorant enough to believe the results of quote unquote studies, which they get the results of these studies just by asking a bunch of women to fill out a survey. Okay? That's not science. They shouldn't be allowed to even call that a study. People are full of shit, okay? And it's not just lying, but it's, just going back to the example I gave of women will think that a guy is following them home when he's just walking in the same direction behind them. Okay? So women interpret things in kind of silly ways sometimes. So you can't trust what they put as their answers on a survey. And that's where this information is coming from. I'm pretty sure. I did look it up just because I was curious, and she's actually wrong about what she said anyways. Even if you take all the survey studies seriously, she said that 1 in 4 women have experienced the completed version of the very, very bad thing. But according to the CDC, which I think is probably where she got this number from, it says that 1 in 4 women have experienced completed or attempted very, very bad thing. Okay, so she didn't even pay attention to the damn study that she's talking about in her manifesto here. It's bad information and then misread and repeated incorrectly to make it sound even more extreme. That's why I'm calling this propaganda. Shelby exists and makes propaganda. That should be her new channel name because that's what she's doing right here. This is pure propaganda. She's literally using fake stats. She's using fake statistics right now. Propaganda. What else can you call that?
I wish men would suffer in silence like we do, because why do I have to keep hearing about it?
Okay, she's got to be trolling, right? She's just trolling, right? She can't be serious. Shelby, do you really think that men as a group are the ones more so than women that complain about being lonely and all that? Do you really think that? Do you really think that? That is so beyond ignorant. Like, if you live in the real world and I don't have the most experience interacting with people socially. I am a bit of a recluse, but I do live in this world and I've been living in it for 36 years. Okay. So I do have a bit of experience living in the real world. And to me, it's pretty clear that there are men on the internet like myself that do complain about our loneliness, the very real issues that we face, but there's also a whole lot of women that complain about a whole lot of things. And they're definitely not just on the internet, okay? It's basically pretty much every woman you ever come across. So, what? She's got to be trolling. She has to be trolling with that last statement.
Most people who make up incel content are caught up on height or looks without ever caring that they make women feel like we are in danger of being essayed when we are in their presence.
Okay, so now I feel like she is talking about me directly, and she might be. She has commented on at least one of my videos, okay? She actually left a positive comment on one of my videos, but she's clearly familiar with my channel, so this actually might be speaking directly toward me, okay? So, look, women probably do feel danger in my presence, but that's not because I'm doing anything that should make them feel any danger. It's because I'm bald. And I look like a scary guy because I'm bald. Okay? I'm not doing anything, I'm not saying anything that should make anybody think that I am dangerous. And listen, I'm really not concerned about a woman feeling danger in my presence. Because if a woman feels danger in my presence, then she's being ridiculous. Because there's no danger. I am not a dangerous person. And most lonely men, even most inkwells, believe it or not, they're not dangerous. They're not violent. That is a very small minority, okay? So we really, as men, we don't need to be concerning ourselves with whether or not women feel danger in our presence. Because women feel danger when they see a spider, okay? Women feel danger because a man is walking in the same direction as them. All right, women feel danger at really stupid times for no good reason. So, no, I'm not concerned that women feel danger in my presence. I mean, I am kind of concerned. I'm concerned about the fact that women are that ridiculous that they're afraid of me just because I'm freaking bald and ugly, and that makes them afraid of me. It is concerning that just because I was walking in the same direction as a girl after getting off the train, that she was afraid that I was chasing her, apparently, because she damn near broke out in a sprint to get away from me. She was actually just kind of fast walking, but it was very obvious that she was walking very fast to get away from me. It's concerning in the sense that it makes me depressed and it makes me feel bad that I'm being misinterpreted in that way. But I'm not concerned about a woman's safety because she feels danger in my presence, because her safety is not in jeopardy. She feels danger because she's stupid, I guess.
Men will say that they are an open book, but the pages are blank.
Goddamn Ernest Hemingway over here, that was poetic. That was prosaic. What did she say? Men say that they're a open book, but the pages are blank. What the Okay, whatever. Moving on. Shelby fucking Steinbeck over here.
Because men blame women for only going for chads, but then they're over here at 5'7", 50 pounds overweight with receding hairline and latent alcoholism, only hitting up Becky's and Stacy's, doing the exact same thing.
Notice that half of the descriptors she used to describe ugly men are things that are outside of a man's control. Might as well throw a man's race in there too. But, for some reason she didn't want to go there. But she seems to have no problem talking about bald or short men. And she's just straight up wrong about ugly men only hitting up attractive women. That's not even almost accurate. It is a fact that men on average have much lower standards for a woman's looks compared to the standards that women have for a man's looks. That's just a fact. And it's also obvious if you just think for a second about the economics of the modern dating landscape. Okay, especially with online dating and everything that's very looks based, and just with the fact that men are historically and still today the sex that is supposed to be, doing all the approaching, while women just wait for a guy to approach them. There are dozens, hundreds of guys to approach them, and they just choose the ones they want. Okay, so just taking that in mind, obviously, women are going to have higher standards for a man's looks than the other way around. I think that's just obvious based on based on all the factors. Let's be real here. Okay? I know I can speak from experience using dating apps, and in my real life experience, I'm not attractive, okay? I am bald. I have a weird shaped head. I don't look good. But anytime I've ever got close, a little bit close to kind of sort of getting with a woman in any way whatsoever, she's pretty much always below my looks match, okay? Especially with online dating. We're not just going for the more attractive women. That is absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. In fact, most of us, by the time we're even 20 years old, we've already come to learn our place. Okay? So we already know, there's no way that an actually average looking woman would go with us. We know that. So we're not even considering them. So she's just completely wrong. It's like she just made that up out of thin air. I don't know where she's getting her information from. I think it's just coming out of her own vacuous airhead.
Men need to stop hating and shaming other men for having mental health issues, because it becomes a problem by proxy. It becomes our problem by proxy, because when men don't utilize their own male friendships for healing their mental health, it becomes a woman's problem.
This is one of those things women say where they act like, it's not my job to be your therapist. I don't owe you emotional labor. I'm sure there are some overly whiny men out there that just won't shut the hell up about their emotions, but also, something tells me a lot of the time when women say shit like this, what they're actually talking about is when a man they're in a relationship with tries to talk to them about literally any problem they're having, big or small. But you ever notice how you literally never hear any man make a serious complaint about his wife or his girlfriend talking too much about her emotional problems? And I think we all know which gender talks about their emotional problems more, okay? Nobody's going to question that. You know why the whole emotional labor complaint only comes from women, even though they are the ones doing most of the whining, or at least just as much whining, okay? Let's just say women are surely demanding emotional labor from their partners at least as often as men. So why is it that women are the only ones that complain about it when men, quote unquote, demand emotional labor? Maybe it's because most women are disgusted by a man that shows his emotions. It's a normal thing to expect your significant other to listen to your problems sometimes and offer you some comfort sometimes. Yes, of course, there is a point where it becomes too much, but I find it very hard to believe that men are the ones that are more often demanding too much emotional labor. The only way that makes sense is if women have a much lower threshold for how much emotional labor they consider to be too much. I don't know, just something to think about. And just listen to the ridiculousness of what she's saying here. She's saying that men shouldn't be talking to women about their problems. They should be talking to other men about their problems. She shouldn't have to provide emotional support for a man, but other men should have to provide that emotional support for men. And I bet she would probably also complain that men don't provide enough emotional support for women. She probably would make that same complaint, which is like very hypocritical or whatever. I don't even, it's just, I hate this so much. I hate this. Everything she's saying, she is saying all of the feminist propaganda, and I almost don't even want to call it feminist because at some point there was like a legitimate feminist movement that was like, working toward getting the right to vote, for example, which is something that, yes, that's a good thing. Believe it or not, maybe some people in my audience disagree. I think it's good for women to have the right to vote. They live in the world, they should be allowed to vote on things. But the type of propaganda that Shelby is putting out here, so I don't really want to call it feminist necessarily, but it's like it's misandrist is what it is. It's man-hating propaganda. This isn't even trying to prop women up at this point. It's not trying to make things fair for women because things are already in women's favor. It's like more than fair for women. Yet in her mind, she just can't comprehend. I think what it is, by the time Shelby was born, I don't know how old she is, assuming she's probably 30, between 30 and 40. By the time she was born, women had the right to vote. Women could do whatever a man could. Women were receiving massive affirmative action initiatives in the workplace and all that. So she's grown up in a world where everything is unfairly in her favor. Okay, everything is unfairly in women's favor, and that's what she was born into, and that's what she's used to. So now she's on the internet, and she's getting comments on her YouTube videos, and she starts to see, some men don't like the way things are. And she takes that as like personal offense, and she thinks, well, I don't even know because it's hard to believe a person could actually believe the things that she's saying, but I'll just assume she is speaking in good faith. I don't know. It's misandrist. She just wants women to be the emperors of the universe and men to be like the underclass, I guess, which is kind of almost already how it is. But she wants it to be even further in that direction. It's like she's living a life of such great privilege that she can't even fathom what life is actually like for an average or below average man. She can't even understand it. She cannot understand it. She thinks that the male loneliness epidemic, like she thinks when a man is lonely, that is self-imposed. It's not, okay, it could be self-imposed sometimes. Certainly not always, probably not most of the time. The reason there is a male loneliness epidemic, and it is an epidemic, is because of societal conditions and the fact that, with the way that everything is tilted in women's favor, and women are the ones that have all the choice when it comes to the dating market, yeah, it leads to there being a whole lot of men being completely lonely, just left completely alone with no hope. It's not our own fault.
And they say that how dare we reject them when we are in our 30s? How dare we reject them if we are sub 5 or whatever that means? It's because we don't feel safe around you for a good reason.
Okay, women en masse, just speaking in general terms, women are not rejecting men because they don't feel safe around them. Like that's probably happened. It probably happens sometimes, but the vast majority of the times, a man that experiences nothing but rejection from women, it's not because he's making them feel unsafe. It's because he's ugly. Or maybe he's just average looking, but that isn't enough these days. Most women only want the top 10%, maybe the top 20%, if we're being charitable. It should just be obvious if you pay any attention to the world around you and you look at who's pairing up with who. Women obviously, generally speaking, do not use like how safe or dangerous a man is as one of their main criteria when choosing which men to go with. Because if that were the case, then I think there would probably be a lot less DV in this world. And I'm not victim blaming here. Like it is bad when a person assaults another person, okay? Regardless of the gender. Like it's a bad thing, okay? And it does happen and it's not good. I am 100% against that. But what I'm saying is we see time and time again, women do choose to go out with guys that are super aggressive and obviously showing every sign of being dangerous. Women do go out with these guys if they're good looking enough. And a lot of times, even after a man has shown her time and time again just how dangerous he is, she stays with him. Okay, so it's not men that make women feel unsafe that are men that are getting rejected. It's men that aren't attractive for the most part that are the ones that are getting rejected, okay? Women aren't rejecting us because they're afraid of us. Or maybe it is, maybe on some primal level, they are afraid of me because I'm bald. And that it gives them an instinctual feeling of fear, but that's not my fault, okay? I just went bald because, I don't think it's anything I did that made me go bald. I think it's just in my genetics. My father also went bald at an early age. So I'm bald and I am a bigger guy as well. So yes, that makes me look scary, okay? Women think I'm dangerous. They feel unsafe around me, but they're not. They're absolutely not unsafe around me. I have never assaulted anybody. I'm a safe guy to be around. I mean, I'm not a dangerous guy, and I never would be a dangerous guy because I'm against all that, okay? I'm not for that. But it's like she just has no awareness of the world around her and how people are in society. Maybe she really has never left that room right there. I don't know. No, she has. She has videos in other locations, but it's just such a ridiculous statement.
They can't afford SWs, so we are over here having to deal with them pressuring us through every no and not accepting every no.
Can somebody tell me what she just said there? She said men can't afford SW? I have no idea what that means. I don't think that is a common acronym. I don't know what that is. Can someone leave a comment and tell me what that is? I'm just curious.
Tell me why that most women do not want the life that our grandmothers had. We do not want to have 6 kids and get married at 18 because we have no other choice.
A whole lot of women, I think, do want to have that life where they are a stay-at-home mother and they have a whole bunch of kids and they have a big family and women do want that life. Not all of them, obviously. I'm speaking generally. I think a lot of women do want that life, but they want that life with Chad. They all want this same guy, and most women can't get that guy. Now, back in the day, when you're talking about our grandparents' times, okay, back in those days, a lot more women did settle for less attractive guys and less successful guys. And the reason for that is because women's social groups and women's options for dating were a lot smaller, okay? Now there's online dating, There's more and more people live in urban environments these days, okay? So there's just more people around also in your day-to-day life. So women have a lot more options. And women apparently are willing to all date the same guy if they can't lock him down, for themselves. Okay, so the only reason that we see so many women choosing to not date is because they can't get the guy that they want. All right? It's not that women have more choice. Now women can pursue their careers and stuff. It's like they choose to do that because, well, for one, a lot of them are brainwashed because that is the mainstream media brainwashing that we all receive from every angle, is that women belong in the workplace, which is fine. I'm fine with women having that as an option of something they can pursue if they want. But I do think that probably most women, and even if not most, we'll just say a lot of women do want that traditional lifestyle. They want to play the traditional roles. But for them to do that, for a lot of women, that means they would have to settle for a guy that isn't in the top 10% of their options. Okay? And they're not willing to do that. They're just not willing to do that because they don't have to do that because they have this device in their pocket that gives them access to damn near every man in the entire world. Okay? So that's what we're up against.
And as soon as women started to have the option to not choose men, this is when men started to roll back our rights.
Okay, so she said, as soon as women had the option to not choose men, this is when men started to roll back our rights. Okay, so I'm guessing she's talking about quote unquote reproductive rights. All right, I don't want to really get into this controversial topic here, but what I will say is that there obviously is not a consensus on this issue concerning whether or not doing that thing does constitute ending a human life, and at what point in the development that doing that thing would constitute ending a human life. There's no consensus on these things, okay? So it's just some people believe one thing, some people believe another thing, okay? But framing that as a woman's right, that is ridiculous, okay? It's not a woman's right, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that. So when you talk about rolling back women's rights, for one, you're only talking about the one thing, okay? I'm pretty sure she's only talking about the one thing. Nobody's taking away your right to vote. Like that's not on the table. Nobody's even talking about that, okay? Your right to pursue a career, your right to, what rights are being taken away? Other than that very specific right that, I guess if you're currently allowed to do it legally, then I guess technically that is a right that women have that, it doesn't even apply to men. So thinking of it in terms of like equal rights between men and women, even if you lost that right, it's not like that even changes the balance between fairness, legally speaking, between men and women, because that's not even really like a thing that applies to men. So it's like talking about rolling back your rights. Shut up. That's stupid.
They shame us for preferring the company of cats over the company of men.
You should be shamed for preferring the company of cats over the company of men. I'm not saying you should prefer the company of every man over the company of your cats. Okay, obviously you're gonna enjoy spending time with your cats more than spending time with just some random man you see at Walmart. But as a matter of generally speaking, if you prefer cats to other human beings, you should be shamed for that. That is very bad for our society will crumble if women do not pair up with men and have babies, okay? Our society will crumble, and it is crumbling, and that's part of the reason why. Men and women have, like, we need both of us, both men and women. We're all in this together. We gotta work together. We gotta work together, okay? Women, some of y'all are gonna have to settle, okay? And, men aren't perfect either, but ladies, some of y'all gotta settle, okay? I guess you are allowed, you can choose to just live out your days with your cats until they eat your carcass off the floor, but that's not good for society. It's probably not even what is good for you in your own life, but you're also damn brainwashed by this propaganda, by literally, this is propaganda. Congratulations, Shelby. Shelby exists and makes propaganda. You just created probably a very effective piece of propaganda, even though it kind of comes off like some kind of psychopath's very jumbled, unorganized manifesto. But for a stupid woman that comes across this video, this is probably actually very effective propaganda, because you're hitting all of the misandrous talking points. You're hitting them all. You're nailing them. So, congratulations on the propaganda you've created. Very good. Good stuff.
Women are no longer being manipulated, are no longer allowing ourselves to be manipulated. So true to form, they are trying to rebrand women through a smear campaign. Because they can no longer control us, they're trying to control the way people see us.
She says women are no longer allowing themselves to be manipulated, but yes, they are. A whole lot of them are. You, for example, Shelby, it's very clear by the nonsense that you're spouting off in this little propaganda piece that you yourself are allowing yourself to be manipulated by mainstream media propaganda, and you're allowing yourselves to be manipulated by freaking TikTok and Instagram reels, and you're allowing yourselves to be manipulated by what you see when you see how many damn notifications you got on the dating apps. Okay, so Shelby, maybe you should consider the fact that pretty much everything you're saying right now, you're saying a bunch of stuff that is not true, and it's, but aside from that, okay, you believe everything you're saying is true and it's accurate and whatever, okay. But have you considered the fact that everything you're saying is 100% acceptable in mainstream discourse? Like, if you said all the stuff you're saying in this video, if you said that in the break room at a corporate office, people would applaud you. Everyone would just agree with you because you're saying the mainstream propaganda. Everything you're saying is in line with the powers that be. You're not challenging the status quo. You're spouting off the status quo. You're backing it up. Okay? So I don't know. Maybe that should signal something in your brain. Maybe that should tell you something. Maybe that should make you think. Or I don't know. Maybe it probably never crossed your mind because you're so brainwashed. But maybe if you listen to this, maybe you'll think about it for a second.
Men cannot form communities without us. They can't even make friends without us organizing that.
Excuse me, did she just say that men cannot even make friends without women facilitating it? What is she even talking about? Men can't form communities together because women won't even let men have their own social clubs. Every single male-dominated hobby group eventually gets infiltrated by attention-seeking losies. That always happens. Look at you right now, Shelby. I'm a loser. Oh, men are commiserating on the internet about their shared experience as being neat losers. Oh, that's cool. I'm a loser. I'm a loser too. Look at me. I'm a loser. I'm a loser on YouTube too. Look, I'm a doomer YouTuber. Look, I'm a loser. Men can form communities together, okay? We've had lots of those. Okay? We had the gym, all right? That was a male space where we could just go, we could just lift weights, work out. And now the women are taking over the gym, and not just I am perfectly fine with women going to the gym, but a lot of women, and it's certainly not all women, it's probably not even most of them, but there are a lot of women that they go to the gym and they bring a freaking tripod to set their phone on so they can film a TikTok of them doing squats basically wearing a bikini in the gym. They literally just wear a sports bra without a shirt, which you're not supposed to do that in public, ladies. I don't know if you realize that. It's called a sports bra that goes under your shirt. It's not the shirt itself, but they dress like that in the gym, and now men don't even feel comfortable being in there because women are filming us, accusing us of staring at them or being creepy just because we're in the place that we formed to be a club and a place for us to hang out. Okay? But yeah, men can't even make friends unless women organize it. What are you even talking about?
The truth is, only the top 20% of male animals reproduce, and that's a fact. Yet men blame us instead of accepting their fate. Women choosing not to have children is the next step in human evolution.
Okay, Shelby, do you really want to go down this road? Do you want human society? Do you really want it to function like wild, feral animals? Do you want our society to function the way that the society of freaking apes and wolves functions? Is that what you want? Because I can tell you, I'm pretty sure in the animal kingdom, okay, that should tell you everything you need to know right there. It's an animal kingdom, okay? It's not an animal queendom, okay? It's the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, everything is very brutally unfair, okay? And I don't think it's like all the female hedgehogs are only choosing the top 20% of male hedgehogs to mate with, and that's just their choice. Female animals, in a lot of cases, they don't have the choice. They don't have a choice. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you really want human society and you want humans to function like animals do in the wild, then I can tell you with 100% confidence that is not going to be good for women at all, okay? It's not going to be good for women at all. You do not want that, okay? You do not want that. You want this comfortable society that we've built up for your comfort, okay? You want that. Trust me. You don't want everything to go wild like animals. You don't want to live like the animal kingdom. Shelby, are you being serious right now? So don't say that men need to just accept this is just natural. It's just natural. Men just need to accept their fate. Look, Shelby, almost everything that humans do is unnatural. I mean, we live in houses, we talk on phones, we watch TV, we fly in airplanes. We're not really like other animals, okay? We're a lot smarter than we're smarter than every other animal, okay? There's a reason we live the way that we do, okay? We're a different kind of animal, period. It is what it is, all right? So don't compare us to every other animal in the world because you don't want that, okay? That would be so much worse for women. Surely you understand that, right? Surely you understand that the life of a female weasel, I don't know, like any animal you can think of, most animals, the life of the female animal is not near as good as the life of the female human. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
We are weeding out the violent men with no emotional intelligence, and it is a provable fact that married men and unmarried women are the happiest people compared to their counterparts.
Okay, guys, I don't know how long I can continue watching this and reacting to this. It's like everything she says requires such a response. Everything she's saying is like she's just like propaganda hitting. She's just like hitting us with like propaganda after propaganda, talking point after talking point. And I'm trying to combat all of it, but it's like it's so much. Okay, so she said, we are weeding out the violent men with no emotional intelligence. Shelby, if that's actually how you think that the dating market and dating is going these days, if that's how you think it's really going, you are truly not living in the real world. There is no correlation with the men that actually successfully get women to date them and marry them and have children with them. There's no correlation with the men that are able to do that and their emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not part of the equation. I mean, I can see how a man being emotionally intelligent, I can see how that is a bonus. That is something that women probably do consider to be a desirable trait. When it's a man that's already attractive, because that's the baseline. Okay, you're not even thinking about men that aren't attractive. So, a man being emotionally intelligent and a man working on his emotional intelligence, I would agree that it's a good thing to have emotional intelligence. Whatever that is, seems like that's probably a good thing, but that's not the main thing that women are attracted to. It's not even important at all until a man's already past the looks threshold. Being attractive is what helps a man get women. Being rich is what helps a man get women. Having good social status is what helps a man get women. And social status is really, for the most part, just a function of the other two things, okay? It's not really a function of emotional intelligence. Maybe a little bit, but not near as much as physical looks, okay? Just, guys, I don't know if I can. This video is probably already a freaking hour long, if I had to guess. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep going.
Men will say things like, we are locked in, and that we are moving in silence with absolutely no results. They go to the gym for 1 hour and then come home and watch the Undertape for the next 6 hours.
Okay, listen, Shelby, you're really showing your ignorance here when you say things like this. Okay, so if a man goes to the gym for 1 hour, 3 or 4 times a week, that is absolutely, that is enough to see great results. Okay? I don't know how long you think men need to be in the gym, but a 1 hour gym session, longer than that can be great, but 1 hour gym session is not bad. That is enough to see good results. I don't, like, what are you even talking about? You don't even know anything about what you're talking about. Probably because, in your case, living your life as a woman, you've never even had to consider working out and molding your body and stuff, because it's just not a thing that women have to do. Women really don't need to go to the gym to make themselves more attractive. Women, for the most part, just need to be not fat, and they'll get plenty of attention from men. Now, I will say, if a woman, she works out and she's in good shape, she does a lot of cardio and stuff, yeah, that might make her a bit more attractive than she would be otherwise. But for the most part, men just like a woman that It's not even that women like a woman that's not fat, because you can definitely be fat and you'll still be attractive to a lot of men. And you can be super flabby and skinny fat and you'll still be attractive to a lot of men. It's really only a thing that men have to deal with, where our bodies, like, we actually have to be lean and maybe a little bit muscular, have a little bit of muscular definition. I know it's like you don't have to be jacked to attract women, but it helps a lot, like a whole lot, to be at least a little bit muscular. But you don't understand that, Shelby, and you clearly have no idea how to work out and make progress. You clearly have no idea if you think 1 hour is not a long enough time to spend in the gym, because it is. A 1 hour session 3 times a week, that's not necessarily the most efficient workout program, but you'll get results. You will get results if you're working out, you're in the gym, doing the right things for 1 hour, 3 or 4 times a week. You're gonna see results, okay? So you don't know what you're talking about. And also, she's like, men will spend 1 hour in the gym and then go watch 6 hours of Andrew Tate. Look, I've never met a single person in my real life or even heard of a person on the internet that watches Andrew Tate. I think that's like middle schoolers that watch Andrew Tate. And at this point, I think you're just a bit behind the times here. Does Andrew Tate even release any kind of content at this point? I haven't, like, he's not even nobody's even talking about Andrew Tate anymore. What are you doing? That's like 2 or 3 years ago. Andrew Tate is not relevant at this point. Nobody's watching Andrew Tate, especially not like an average man. If you think there's actually a significant portion of the male population that agrees with anything that Andrew Tate says, then you are just not living in reality. You are not living in the real world. The vast majority of men do not take Andrew Tate seriously. He's obviously a total moron. He's probably at least as smart as you, but it just, Jesus, the things you're saying, like, you're so out of touch, Shelby. You are so out of touch. You do not know what happens in the real world. You have no idea what goes on in a man's brain. Clearly, you don't know what men do you don't know how men spend their time. You don't know how men think. You don't know the experiences that men go through in this fucked up gynocentric society. You have no idea. Clearly, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just existing and making propaganda, while at the same time, simultaneously, you are trying to emulate the type of content you see men making, and you're trying to just... Let's move on.
They will literally bash us for having friends and being goal-oriented because they are aimless and all alone.
Who is bashing you for having friends and being goal-oriented? I can almost understand what she's saying with men bash us for being goal-oriented. I think she's trying to say, men such as myself, we talk about the whole idea of the woman, the girl boss that only cares about her career, and she's just a man-hating girl boss. Okay, the problem isn't that she's pursuing her career. The problem is that there are women that pursue their career at the expense of literally everything else. And on an individual level, that's not a problem, because individuals can do whatever they want as long as they're not harming another person or, harming animals, whatever. But on a population level, when we have a massive proportion of women that are very clearly brainwashed by the powers that be and the mainstream media apparatus to believe that that is the only way they should be living, that the only way they should be living is to pursue their careers at the expense of everything else, that is a problem, okay? So that's the complaint I think you're hearing, that you're kind of, taking it personal. And what was the other thing she said? That they will literally bash us for having friends. I don't even know what you're talking about there. I think most men think it's perfectly fine and normal for a woman to have friends. I really don't know what you're talking about there.
It's always twos who find the audacity to make you feel completely unsafe.
Okay, there it is. There it is. She just let the mask slip. It's only the ugly men that want to make us feel unsafe. What is the title of this video again? Let's back up a second. What did she put for the title of this video? Lonely men are not ugly, they are dangerous. Okay, but then right here you're saying it's only the ugly men that want to make us feel unsafe. Okay, so you want to at the same time say, you're not ugly, you're just dangerous. But then you're saying, it's only the ugly guys that are dangerous. Okay, so I think that really speaks for itself. You said something very stupid there, okay? You've made a very stupid video. It's a bunch of propaganda, just unadulterated, unfiltered propaganda. This, again, I said it before and I'll say it again. This whole video is like, it comes off like she wrote a manifesto. Like, people be on the lookout. Look for Shelby's names in the newspapers because this is a manifesto. I'm afraid she might do something. I'm legitimately afraid she might do something. And no, I'm not actually. I am joking, okay? I'm not legitimately afraid she might do something. But this sounds like a psycho killer's manifesto. This is like a ER style manifesto. For real. Shelby is on the same level mentally as a guy like ER. Because this it's just ridiculous. This is a manifesto. This is a Okay. Let's see what she has to say.
We would kindly appreciate it if no man approached us ever again because men don't just want women, they want control over us.
Okay, we would kindly appreciate it if no man ever approached us again. Okay, so first of all, you don't speak for all women. And even you yourself, I really, really doubt that you want no man to ever approach you again. If Prince Charming, your perfect man, approached you, you would freaking love it, okay? So don't even try to tell me you don't want any man to approach you again. You don't like the men that approach you because by the time a man is approaching a woman that looks like a damn horse, okay, okay, whatever, leave it in. By the time a man is approaching you, Shelby, that man has already been rejected by dozens of women. He sees you and he's like, I guess that's my best chance, okay? So by the time he approaches you, that man already knows that he's ugly as shit, okay? So, yeah, of course, you don't like the men that approach you. Because look at you. What do you expect the men that approach you to look like? What do you expect them to be like? When you're this ugly on the inside, I'm talking about your inner beauty here, Shelby, or your lack thereof. When you are this ugly on the inside yourself, what kind of expectations do you think you should be having for a man that approaches you? Yeah, you probably don't want those men to approach you because they're the worst of the worst. Because you're the worst of the worst. And that's why they approach you, because they know they can't do any better. And they can't even do as good as you in most cases. Okay, these are very lonely, desperate men. Sometimes it's just because they're ugly. Okay, or it's just because they're very autistic or something that just a normal person can't understand them. So they see you, they're at the stables or at the bar, whatever. They see you, nay, whatever. Okay, I'll stop with that. That's not nice. But they approach you because they think you're the best they can get. Okay, if Prince Charming approached you, if your dream man approached you, don't even try to act like you would not love that, okay? Just stop. Just stop. Be honest for one damn second, Shelby. Be honest. You're making propaganda here. Could you try to be honest? And if you are being honest, then maybe you need to try a little bit of something called introspection, okay? Analyze your own thoughts, like the thoughts that you're having right now. Think, where did this thought come from? Is it just basic MSNBC talking points? Am I just spouting off very basic MSNBC talking points? Do I just sound like an average Reddit post right now? Maybe you need to think about the things you're saying and how they line up with what you see in mainstream media and across mainstream social media. Because you're just spouting off all the same propaganda, okay? It's pretty clear where you got it from. It's pretty clear these are whatever. I don't care. Look, this video, I think I made it less than 5 minutes into her video, maybe about 5 minutes. It's a 30-minute long video, guys. Fellas, I want to react to more of this. I don't have time though. If I react to this entire video, my reaction to her 30-minute long video is going to end up being like 3 or 4 hours long. Maybe I'll do a live stream where I watch the whole thing, but I need a period of like 6 hours where I have the house to myself, and I don't know when or how I would be able to get that. So I want to react to this full video. I just can't. Like, I just don't have the time. So I guess that's what we got. I think that's, you know what? We'll go a little bit further. Okay?
Men are choosing extinction over evolution, and they are choosing not to step forward rather than to change.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, no, I'm not. I can't. Like, what do you even say to something like that? How do you even respond to that? It's like, it's so ridiculous. It's so out of this world, astronomically just not based in any reality whatsoever. It's just pure propaganda. And I think really for most people, this speaks for itself. Even, I don't know, man, it's hard to watch and to listen to the things she's saying. None of it makes any sense. It's just silly. It's silly. It's hard to believe that she even believes the things that she's saying. This is horrible. I really, truly, I do want to, because I have listened to this entire video, and there are parts later on in the video that I have things I want to say about it, but I just don't have the time. When every other sentence she says is something that I need to react to, that I need to respond to, I don't have the time to do this, okay? So this is what we got for now. Maybe eventually I'll make like a part 2 or a part 3. It might get up to like part 24. I don't know. There's a lot I have to say about this bullcrap, but that's what we got for now. Shelby exists and she makes propaganda, and it's bad propaganda. It comes off like a deranged manifesto. Hopefully she doesn't do anything drastic, because she's talking like a crazy person here. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Nay!